When you hear a name like Torpedo Juice, you expect something dramatic, smoke and sparks, maybe a questionable life choice or two. It sounds like the kind of drink that Don the Beachcomber or Trader Vic would have tucked into a secret menu in the 30s or 40s, but the real story comes from a totally different world. Metal ships, restless sailors, and young men board thousands of miles from home. During World War II, sailors weren't exactly wandering into tiki bars looking for fancy cocktails. If they wanted a drink, they had to get resourceful. And sometimes that meant borrowing alcohol from places absolutely not intended for drinking. So early American torpedoes ran on 180 proof ethyl alcohol, pretty much stronger than anything you'd find on a back bar. And once sailors figured that out, they started draining a little bit here and there and mixing it with whatever juice they could get, whether it be pineapple, grapefruit, orange, anything to really tame the fire. And that mix became known literally as torpedo juice. The liquor was often banned on board, so this wasn't really just mischief. It became a culture of camaraderie. It was a morale boost during the bloodiest stages of the war. Some sailors even tried filtering the alcohol through bread or distilling it again to remove the additives the Navy mixed in to stop people from doing exactly this. Others just went to hell with it and drank it as is. And even when fixed, torpedo juice just hit really hard. It was strong, it was rough, and left a hangover that probably made sailors reconsider every decision that led them to that moment. But it was also a shared experience amongst young men that were fighting not only for their lives, but also for our future. And over time, the name spread beyond the torpedo fuel itself. In some places, torpedo juice just meant whatever improvised ultra-strong concoction servicemen managed to put together. And now, just to be clear, this wasn't really a tiki cocktail. There were no mugs and no garnishes, no bar programs, no Don or Vic style secret codes, but it does connect the tiki in a sideways kind of way. So long before veterans found themselves in Polynesian themed bars back home, they were already mixing strong alcohol with bright juices. And that basic instinct, strong spirit plus citrus flavor, carried right into early American tiki culture. The drinks got a lot safer, but the roots go deeper than palm fronds and paper umbrellas. And today, we're making a version of torpedo juice that won't blind you, it won't poison you or get you yelled at by a commanding officer. No fuel tanks, no bread filters, just a strong drink that nods respectfully at its wild past. So this recipe comes to us from Danny Gallardo, better known as Tiki Diablo. Danny deeply understood tiki, the art, the history, and the heart of it. His take on torpedo juice feels like a wink to that tough, unpolished era while still being something you actually want to drink. Now, sadly, Danny passed away a few weeks ago, and making this today just feels like a small way to honor him with an appreciation for everything he gave to modern tiki culture. So with a little history behind us and a quiet toast to a friend of us all, let's make torpedo juice the way Tiki Diablo would like it. We need 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, 1/2 of an ounce of honey syrup, 3 ounces of pineapple juice, 1/2 an ounce of Plantaray OFTD, and then 1.5 ounces of Don Q Cristal. We will then blend this drink with ice and dirty pour. And the garnish will be mint. Yeah, so it's a good drink. It's super refreshing. A lot of times when you put a lot of pineapple in a drink, that's all you can taste, but the OFTD and the Don Q Cristal really covers that. The honey syrup is there to kind of round out that pineapple a little bit. And then you also have just the lime juice because a lot of tiki cocktails have lime juice in them. So really good drink. I believe the actual person who came up with this is Vados Hutiki. I believe that was who actually came up with the concoction, but I know that Danny would pass out his card, and sometimes this recipe would be listed on there. So sadly, like I said in the open, Tiki Diablo passed away earlier in February. A sad loss for all of Tiki. I didn't know Danny all that well. Here and there, I met him a few times and talked to him, and seemed like a really cool guy. I do have some Tiki Diablo pieces out in my backyard bar. And yeah, unfortunately, he left us way too soon. And as somebody who's now 40, it's starting to hit you that, your life is passing us all by, right? So you have to live every day. I don't want to say the cliche, live every day like it's your last, but enjoy life. Life can get tough. I've had loss in my life. I've had friends that have died. I've had family who've passed. I've had a lot of pets. And Thankfully, I had one pet who got very sick in February, but ultimately came through after a lot of money at the vet. But my boy is back home, thankfully. But the world sucks. And Danny was one of those people who helped make it a little bit brighter. And there's really not much else to say that hasn't already been said about Danny. He was a cool dude. He had some awesome art, awesome mugs, awesome just everything. But at the end of the day, he left an awesome impression on everybody who he ever talked to, he ever met, he ever collaborated with. And Tiki Diablo, Danny Gallardo, Godspeed, man. We wish you nothing but the best wherever you are. So that all being said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Koli Maluna, cheers and enjoy.